2, 1.
Oh my gosh, that was so epic.
I think that's it. There he is. You guys ready? Let's pull it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh. Hey! And JB's on there! 600! 600! Yes! Yay! 600 mile time. That would be just. So here we are, back with the real supercharger. Okay, we are on the test track.
I'd recommend putting your head on the headrest.
Okay.
There he's ready. Nope.
Yep. Oh, there it goes. Oh, that never gets old either. We have the post-study production cars here.
Wait, what?
Yeah, oh yeah, you watch it.
Well, why is he gonna throw it?
I don't know, but we're gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Just use a sledgehammer. What?
Well, maybe that was a little too hard.
I'm Eric, otherwise known as Derek, here in Shanghai at Gigafactory 3.
Ballapalooza. It's like tricks.
3, 2, 1.
Will it wipe is the big question of the day.
Will it what?
Generic cornflakes.
Whoa! It's raining cornflakes!
Oh. This is trippy. Look, there's nothing here.
Hello again, everyone. This is Derek. I'm David. This is Eric. Together we're Derek. It is Sunday, September 12th, and we are here to talk with you about everything that's been going on in the world of Tesla, and then we'll open up to your questions, and hopefully we can answer some of those questions here again tonight. So, welcome once again.
Yeah, so nobody asked if I was wearing a gray shirt yet.
Camera.
But I'm
there
not. Surprise, not a gray shirt. Real quick though, before we get into any news, we have some breaking news that literally happened.
What?
38 minutes ago. And that is, he's trying to see the news.
Yeah, who is it? I haven't
That
seen
is,
it.
Elon got a new dog.
A doggy?
A Doge.
A Doge. Well, oh, look.
He got a little Shiba.
Like, I said that and our dogs both went, what? Huh?
Yeah.
So
He got a little Shiba.
how appropriate for him, yes. Oh,
Yeah,
that's interesting.
somebody did that gif. Okay, well, here we are, everybody. I wanted to see, there is some other comments.
Well, congratulations to the Musk family, though, for their new addition to the family.
And it's Floki. Is that how you say that? Floki? I'm pretty sure it's Floki. And then Earl, which is Frunk puppy, said, "For the love of God, put that pup in a frunk." And Elon said he will do it. Oh, wow. So I can't wait for that photo. But huge props to the Musk family on your new addition. And hopefully Doge to the moon. Anyway, we're going to get right into the news because there's some interesting things. Probably be a little bit shorter today. I know I normally say that and we're like, 2 hours. But I think today we're going to try to keep it like an hour. I think that's a nice sweet spot. Anywho. First thing first, yes, Cybertruck with freaking laser beams on top of its head. Basically, about,
what was it,
2019.
Yeah, like, I think it was May of 2019.
Yeah, May 10th of 2019, Tesla filed for a patent to do pulsed laser cleaning of debris accumulated on glass articles in vehicles in photovoltaic assemblies, which is a very long title. But anyway, on this, they had some different things kind of drawn out, but being that it's on photovoltaic assemblies, that could also be for solar.
Oh, yeah.
So that would be interesting if it was like automatically cleaning solar panels. But on here, they kind of said it's the cleaning system for a vehicle includes a beam optics assembly that emits a laser beam to irradiate a region on the glass article of the vehicle, debris detection circuitry that detects. It's really long and very... Yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on. But basically, they could use lasers to clean the windshield. Now, a lot of people I've already seen kind of like in the comments and everything, and I've seen it all over Twitter, are like, wow, how are they going to protect the passengers and the drivers and the occupants of the vehicle from getting shot in the eye with lasers? But I think the angle at which it would go would be okay, but this could just be something to protect a future product. This not, like... Companies patent a ton of crap that they never actually use. They're just protecting it for use for themselves because, say, Apple, which we've been hearing a lot about, them maybe coming out with a car, think this is a good idea and they want to incorporate it. They could do the patent, which would block Tesla from being able to do it in the future without paying Apple a ton of money. So really, they're just kind of protecting themselves, in a sense. Will it make it? I would love to see it because, as we have all seen, especially on the previous gen Model S's, the windshield wipers were crap. The new one, as well as the new Y and everything, it's a lot better because they actually have the sprayer on the wiper. It's much better than like under the hood, but it's still interesting. I guess we'll see what comes of this, but I know there's been a lot of talk about maybe this being in the Cybertruck. Another thing, though, is if Tesla would just ceramic coat their windows or put some super, like, slippery coating on them, they would clean off a lot easier. So, I mean, there are different ways to do it. I think the coating would be a lot cheaper and easier. But, hey, I'm all about laser beams, so let's just do it. But, yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting that they actually got awarded that patent because it seems kind of crazy talking about it now. Yeah, we have dogs all over today.
Yeah, I don't know. She's roaming around for some reason.
Let me find dog cam. Yeah. Kit's hanging out.
Yeah, Layden's like...
Layden
I don't know what she's doing.
I don't know what Layden's doing. But anyway, thought that was kind of interesting. You guys got to see this.
She's trying to make...
She's trying to like squeeze in.
Yeah, she made it. Okay.
Oh, Kit just let out a big sigh. It was kind of cute.
But she made it.
Next up, so I don't know if you live under a rock, maybe. Some of us do. The Tesla Model S Plaid set a Nurburgring record for the EV world, so super excited for them. Now, a lot of people were like, oh, but they only beat the Porsche Taycan by like 12 seconds. To be honest, in the racing world, 12 seconds is a lot. But also, the Taycan didn't have an official record. They did that during an open session. It was not officially timed by the Nurburgring. So
Nürburgring, though, is a racetrack in Germany, for those who don't know.
Yes, and it's a very long racetrack. The Plaid did it in 7 minutes and 30 seconds. So that is a very long track. I think it's almost like 13 kilometers, which in miles is?
I don't know, like 8 miles or so?
8 miles.
I don't know,
something like that.
Somewhere close to that.
But they averaged a speed well over 100 miles per hour. So it was just cool to see. Now, a lot of people, a lot of Tesla Q all over Twitter have been posting about it being a modified car and pulling up pictures from last year when they actually had a couple of Plaids at the Nurburgring with like active aero, super slammed, different rear wings and everything. But this is actually a stock Plaid. Now there was a couple other things maybe in it, like it had, here, I'll just pull this up and we'll just kind of pause it here. It had a little extra screen here, like Motec or something like that. It did have like kill switch down here. So there's some like safety things in here, which is kind of to be expected when you go to a track. But it did look like it was running a track software on here, kind of like their track pack for Model 3, which Elon also tweeted about. That should be coming out in a couple weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. But like it kind of looked like maybe there was a modified roll cage in here. But all that stuff would just add weight. That wouldn't really give them any advantage. Besides that, it was all stock. It actually was the carbon fiber version, so we'd love to see that. But if you haven't seen the video, go check it out. It's over 1 million views already on Tesla's YouTube channel. Definitely interesting, and I can't wait to actually hit the track in my Plaid. I have a lot of stuff coming with the Plaid, and there'll definitely be a track day coming up very, very soon. So make sure you stay tuned for that.
So Elon was tweeting about Nurburgring, and so was Tesla this week, and he was talking about track mode, but also he's talking once again that this will be Tesla's biggest quarter ever. And so we're expecting probably close to 250,000 vehicle deliveries this week. And Elon is just trying to rally the troops and get them all pumped up and just do, push them as hard as they can. And hopefully, cross your fingers, this is the last time, because they're bringing these other factories online in Berlin and in Austin. I don't really think they're going to be contributing much in fourth quarter this year, so I think fourth quarter might actually end up being the biggest quarter in history. Yeah. But then by next year, I think they're not going to be having to ship vehicles around the world as far, because they're going to have those local factories. The United States will be covered by multiple factories. Europe will have their own factory. Asia Pacific already has theirs. They can focus on Australia and China. So I think maybe next quarter will be the biggest one in history, but this is still going to be numbers wise, it's biggest one for just
a big push.
Yeah.
But as an investor, this is great news, because the fact that they have Fremont and Shanghai already going, we have Berlin and Austin coming up soon. Having multiple factories spreads out your liabilities, as we kind of saw last year with coronavirus. Shanghai had to be shut down for a while. Fremont had to be shut down for a while. But because of how things worked, Shanghai saved a lot of quarters.
Yep.
If it weren't for Shanghai, Tesla would not be in a very good position, because deliveries and everything would have suffered a ton. Yeah. So as an investor, seeing all these extra factories might seem like extra liabilities, but if anything, it helps offset other liabilities in case something happens in a part of the world. God forbid, what if California got hit with a massive earthquake? That could ruin Tesla. But because they have Shanghai and they're getting Austin online and Berlin, that would help spread that out. Yeah. Still would not be great, don't get me wrong, and it would probably be extremely bad for anyone who lived there. It's nice to see that they're spreading out their liability.
Yeah, and so, in the past, I think, didn't they do like over 1 million cars last year? Or no, they hit 1 million total.
Yes, total.
But within the coming quarters, they're going to be able to be doing 1 million per year, or multiple millions once these other factories get online. So it just greatly increases the number of vehicles they can deliver per year.
And I think the biggest thing is you don't have to deal with the shipping expense, the tariff really expense. Yeah. There's so many built-in fees that actually a lot of consumers don't really think about. It costs a lot to ship stuff. And I mean, I do a lot of shipping and I do some international stuff, and it's a ton of money.
It also just takes a lot of time.
Time too. Yeah. I can't imagine what Tesla Logistics pays to get cars from
parts.
Fremont.
And parts too.
And parts, yeah, even to other parts of the world. But I guess good thing you spoke about parts. Having cars manufactured in other countries means parts would be more readily available. So anybody who gets in an accident or anything, hopefully their car would be fixed that much quicker. Overall, 2 thumbs up for a lot of factories.
So also in Tesla.
Oh, actually, sorry, real quick. Pete, thank you for the $5 super chat. Really appreciate that. He said OBD port or a way of hooking into the CAN bus on the Plaid. I believe there is. It's under the screen, but there's actually a different way to get into the Plaid. We actually filmed a video on that today. Should be up hopefully Wednesday. Again, don't quote me on that. I'm kind of a one-man editor right now, so it's taking a little bit of time. But it was interesting what we found.
Yeah,
I don't want to give away too much.
Because when we've connected to the OBD port before and use Scan My Tesla, you can see a lot of data behind the scenes. But again, we did a video, and we're going to talk about that in later this week. But definitely there are still ways to see that information, and this is a lot easier than connecting.
And there's no... Sorry, more confetti. Thank you for the $5 super chat. There's no potential of a third party misconstruing that data. It's coming directly from Tesla.
Yeah.
So
anyway, okay, so back to the news. So Eric was talking about the new factories coming along, and we were talking about how Tesla's changing their business this year. But one thing that we noticed recently is that Tesla has discontinued the solar subscription, and that's something that came out a couple of years ago, and we were amazed at it. It was such a great deal because it allowed anybody to just easily call up Tesla or fill out an order form, get it installed, and there was really no obligation. And so it was a really cheap way for somebody to get into solar. The problem is I think Tesla found out that they probably weren't making as much money as they hoped, because they probably did have a lot of people that were trying out for a couple months and canceling, and then Tesla has to go send the work crew back out there to remove all the panels or try to convince them to leave the panels on there for the. So anyways.
A nightmare.
They've discontinued that. So it's unfortunate, but they are still offering some low, financing rates. They're not as low as like the 0.99 that we were seeing earlier, but they do still have some low financing rates. So if you own your home, you want to get solar installed, it is still possible. It's just going to take a little bit more commitment since you can no longer do a new subscription going forward. Also, we've noticed that power walls are no longer being required if you do a solar order. And this is something Tesla changed several months ago, and they're making that if you wanted to order power walls, you had to get Tesla solar at the same time. And this is, again, it's gone back and forth over the years, because you could just get solar, you could just get power walls, then they lock it down. They're just trying to, keep demand, keep things going. And with the limited supply of power walls, they were requiring it that you had to get Tesla solar. So it helped out the solar business. But now they've split that again, and at least in most places I've checked, it looks like you no longer have to get a power wall. But we still definitely recommend a power wall with solar, because that way, if the power goes out, your power walls keep your solar system going. Because if you live, say, in a place prone to hurricanes, and you don't have power walls, and you have 15 kilowatts of solar, that solar will not do any good if the grid goes down. It'll just be sitting there not generating electricity. So we definitely still recommend getting power walls, but there are some people that maybe already have power walls or already have solar, one or the other. Now you no longer have to buy both of them. You could just expand your system and get what you need.
Yeah, and I guess on that note, what does this mean business-wise? Well, solar subscription being discontinued kind of tells me that they've caught up a little bit on solar, and maybe have a little bit of not so much incentivized to make such great deals, because a lot of that solar subscription seemed to be very heavily favorable to the consumer, not so much to Tesla. And now the power walls being ordered without solar, I think is great. I think there was a lot of pushback when they did that. But I think that means that maybe they're catching up on Powerwall orders. Or maybe something is coming down the pipeline that means they'll have some extra batteries.
Yeah, and hopefully, again, like there's a lot of people that had existing solar systems, and with all these, weather, severe weather that's happening around the country, or shutting down power in California and stuff, it allows those people now to be able to add Powerwalls to their system, but you don't have to expand your solar at the same time. So definitely is, I think, more flexible, easier for the customer to get exactly what they need.
Or you could even do a power wall without solar. Now, again, we wouldn't super recommend that, because if you do lose power, once the power wall's drained, you're kind of SOL. But that would get you by for maybe a day or two, depending on what all you have hooked up to it. It's better than nothing. Charlie, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Really appreciate that.
Charlie.
Said thanks for the info on the red paint for the garage. I watched that YouTube video you sent me. Awesome. Glad I could help. I had a few people reach out to me about the red paint. So I'm glad I could help, though. Definitely, once you do paint your garage and make it all Tesla out, tweet a photo and tag us in it, because we would love to see it. But thank you so much for that $10 super chat. Next up, so this has kind of been a back and forth thing, because the way Tesla used to do their year's designation on their vehicles was when the vehicle was built. And so previous years, 2019 Tesla, or was it before that even?
2019 was when they switched, I think.
So a 2018 Tesla was built in 2018. They didn't start a few months in the back of 2017 like a lot of other car manufacturers do. But they had changed that. So technically there are a few 2021 Model S's. I believe it's 2030 to be exact.
Model S's, Model X's.
Oh, a combination.
Yeah.
But it's 2030 based on their summary here that were delivered in Q1. Likely most of those were built at the end in Q4 of 2020. So there's those. And so you got to be careful with what you see, but there's been a new designation.
Yeah, we noticed on the owner's manual for the new refreshed or all new Model S that now it says 2021 plus. And basically, somebody was asking me, what does that mean? And I was like, well, this means that this is one of the refreshed or all new Model S's that was built in 2021 and it has been delivered already in 2021. And that's where I explained those, they did have a couple thousand vehicles that were built at the end, last quarter of last year that were delivered in like January of this year. Those are technically still 2021 vehicles, and the VIN is a 2021. But those are still the older Model S's and Model X's that have the vertical center screen as opposed to the new one, which is a horizontal screen. So just a little FYI, if you're wondering what 2021 Plus means, it's one of the new refreshed Model S's.
Yep.
And I'm sure the Model X, when it comes out, assuming it's coming out this year, it will have the Plus on there as well.
Well, actually,
it might be a 2022.
Exactly.
We don't know for sure because since there has been such a long gap, will they go straight to 2022 if they're building it in October? It's possible because for the last couple of years, the cars that have been built October, November, December have been the next model year in. But since they haven't built any yet, we don't know. So we don't even know what the Model S, they're building them right now. If you get one that's built in September 2021, if you get one built a week later in October, is it going to be a 2022? Or are they just going to stick with 2021 for the rest of the year? Only Tesla knows. And even they might not know yet.
Yeah, exactly. But kind of on that note, talking about some updates. Recently, there was the 21.32.10 update.
Actually, I think it's still pretty limited. I think.
Oh, is it still limited?
I think it's kind of like it's like those beta testers, stuff like that. But
anyway, that does actually bring the SiriusXM radio for the new Plaid and refreshed Model S, which I know we get a lot of comments in our videos saying, when is it going to get it? When is it going to get it? It looks like they're testing it now, and hopefully it'll roll out soon.
I know a lot of people were complaining because they were saying the Monroney sticker says it comes with it, and they're like, but I can't find it on my list of inputs on the radio. And we're like, it's just a software thing. They're going to get to it when they get it. But it sounds like definitely in that new 21.32.10, it will finally be available for those of you who still use SiriusXM.
Yeah, definitely. And then I guess beyond that, we're going to jump into our solar update.
Yeah, that's about it for the news.
Questions.
Not as much news this week as last week, but another great week for solar. We're still averaging about 101 kilowatt hours per day. So we had over 700 for the week. We only had about 370 kilowatt hours. So we still had like 180% more than what we needed. It was a great week for our consumption. But so far for the year, we've generated 21,421, but we've only used 16,000. So we have a surplus of 5,197 kilowatt hours, which again, our utility lets us roll over and cover those winter months. So we really don't have an electric bill anymore. And so far, since the lifetime of our system, which is coming up on 3 years at the end of September, we are now at 102% offset with a surplus of 1,492 kilowatt hours. So again, over the past 3 years, we've generated enough solar to cover our entire household usage, as well as between charging 2 to 4 vehicles, and then some, sending it back to the grid, and even powering our neighbors' houses when we have outages and stuff. And we don't get credit for stuff like that.
True.
But we still generate it, but that doesn't go back as a surplus.
Send them a bill. Send the neighbors a bill.
Still pleased with our solar. Haven't had any problems. And again, we will be having a summary video coming up here, hopefully in the coming weeks, just because it will be our 3-year anniversary of having our system, first system installed.
And if our neighbors are watching, I'm just kidding. We're not going to send you a bill. We're happy to help.
Yeah, it was only a couple kilowatt hours.
It wasn't much at all.
Pennies that we use. Yeah.
Happy to help though. It's much better to run an extension cord to a neighbor's house than have to deal with throwing away all that food. It's just
or listening to somebody's generator or something like that.
True.
Give them free power.
True. But that's basically it for the news. So you may relax, take seatbelt off, move freely about the cabin.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll just jump kind of into questions. I've seen some really good questions already. So we're just going to kind of jump right into it. Pierre was asking, would there be any spacing issues if you put your older Model S wheels on the Plaid, or if the offset on both wheels is the same, would there not be an issue? My understanding is the offsets are different. I think T Sportline
Isn't it like
actually,
20 millimeters or something like that?
something like that.
I have seen pictures of people using their old
Yeah.
like turbines and stuff like that, and he mentioned using 20 millimeter
He spacers. Yeah.
So, but definitely have to check with what's recommended by your wheel manufacturer and stuff.
Yeah. Now, on T Sportline's
I don't know if they have the Plaid yet.
website, they have wheel guides.
Oh, they do. Okay.
So if we go here, and then we go here, wait, hold on. Wheel guide. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing. They have a wheel guide under both the regular Model S and the refresh Model S. So the 19-inch Tempests for the old Model S have an offset of plus 35, and the new ones for like the black ones are a plus 40 and a plus 45. So it is a 5 to 10 millimeter difference.
So it definitely depends on the wheels. Then.
It technically, everything else I think is the same. The center bore is the same. The PCD is the same, which is basically like your lug nuts and everything. Where your lug nuts go. Both 21 millimeter hex, 14 by 150 thread, but it might look very like sunken in. So if anything, maybe you could try spacers. But to be honest, I guess I'll kind of leak a little bit for you guys. Obviously, we have a set of T Sportline stuff coming, and those are going to be kind of like my winter wheels. But we also are pretty much almost finalized with a company for some race spec wheels for when we take Plaid to the track. Or you could even use them around town. But those are going to be really wide and maybe even a little bit different offset to make sure that we can stick them out a little bit further. Because if you've looked at the Plaid, the wheels actually aren't lined up with the fender. They're in a little bit, so they kind of tuck a little bit if you really compress all the way. But there's some other options out there. I would just be careful using the old ones on the new car. I would really be careful using the new ones on the old car because the offset is positive rather than negative. I think that would cause more issues going the other way. I haven't done it yet, though. I don't know if we will.
But definitely that's something we'll cover once we get those new wheels, and we'll figure it out. But it is possible. I've seen some people have been putting old wheel sets on their new vehicles.
Yes.
But I haven't seen it the other way around, taking the new wheels, putting them on the old vehicles. So.
Yeah, I would be more hesitant doing that, though. Matt said there's no way I'd buy Tesla Solar and not get a Powerwall. I certainly agree. Powerwalls are pretty expensive now, though. Aren't they like $10,500?
I don't know if they're that much. I know the price did go up, but that maybe includes installation and everything like that. And also as you buy more, the price goes down, but they're not cheap.
Yeah. And actually, I missed a super chat. Sorry, Michael. Thank you so much for the $5. Said, getting a new job at St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital in Memphis. Now I can get that Tesla Model Y.
Woohoo, congratulations.
Congrats on the job. That would be awesome. I actually work in biotech and do a lot of research, and I absolutely love it. But congrats on the Model Y as well. It's win-win, I guess. So big congrats, Michael, on 2 awesome achievements. Let's see, Sergeant. Oh, wait, Amy said, I want Powerwalls. Hopefully they can get you some up there, or if not, like you get someone else to install them.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of a bummer.
It's definitely great. We definitely love them because we never have to worry about power outages anymore.
Exactly.
So it's we've lived through several multi-day power outages where like all of our power lines were blown down in the neighborhood, or we had a blizzard. And
what was the cause of that other storm? Where the power lines got blown down?
A derecho?
Derecho. Yeah. I didn't know what derecho was, and I learned.
I never heard of one until we had one.
Exactly.
And it basically knocked down all of the power lines in our neighborhood, and we did not have, our neighborhood did not have power for 2 days, but we were fine. Never experienced an outage, and we were able to, like we said earlier, run an extension cord to the neighbors and keep some of their outlets, some of their appliances running. We should say.
Oh, and actually, real quick, ever since Elon got a Shiba Inu, Doge has jumped up to 25 cents. It's been kind of rocky this past week. Yeah. But I'll show you this. Let me just make sure I'm trying to make sure I don't show anything. Like,
Anyway.
Oh wow, it skyrocketed.
That's-
or at least a big jump, I guess.
Big jump. I mean, big jump is in like a few pennies, but
Yeah, looks
earlier
good on the
today
graph.
it was about 24 cents, and now we are at 25.2 cents. Love to see it. Thank you, Elon. Expect a lot of Doge pictures incoming. Sergeant Bolt said, any new mods on your Pit Viper Plaid? That's actually a good name. I was thinking kind of Green Mamba. Somebody said that, but Pit Viper's cool too. I have a lot that I'm trying to work on, kind of behind the scenes. And that, I guess, if you saw my tweet earlier this week, I am needing a Plaid or a long-range Model S in the Seattle, Washington area for...
So it's a 2021 long range.
Yes, a 2021. I need it for a few hours to maybe like an 8-hour business day, so they can take some measurements. And then we also need one in Portland, Oregon. I need it for up to a week, as in like 5 business days, like a Monday through Friday kind of thing. Maybe shorter, depending on how things work. Also for some measurements and everything. Neither one is really going to be driven, but like into their shop for safekeeping. But it's 2 really reputable companies I've used before, and I just need some parts custom made. It is a paying gig though. If you have a car in those areas and you don't mind dropping it off for a little while, helping out, I am willing to pay. So definitely message me if that's something anyone here could help with. Let's see. Clay said, I just changed my iPhone language to Spanish and can't understand any of it.
Hey.
Interesting.
Ay caramba.
Jason said, I like the Plaid. You're here, doormat. Could you make these available? I don't think he'll mind. Check out Abstract Ocean. They I think they're going through with making those. So they should be available soon. I'm really happy with it. I'm gonna get, as soon as they get like the final ones made, I'm gonna get another one for like the other garage door and everything, so that we have them kind of everywhere. I really dig them. And a lot of you actually really liked them too. I got a couple other messages, so super happy that we could do that. Pete said, I ordered Tesla Solar and 3 Powerwalls in June, and I'm still waiting on design team to complete the layout. I doubt it will be installed this year at this rate.
You never know. It depends. Sometimes
It seems like once you get the design layout, everything goes really quick.
Yeah, because when we expanded our system back in 2019, we ordered it I think in like September, and we were able to get it installed by December, because they really try, kind of like with their end of the quarter deliveries, they kind of have an end of the year rush as well, just to try to take advantage and make sure people can get locked in with the federal tax credits and stuff. So don't give up yet. Hopefully they'll be able to finish your design soon and get you installed here before the end of the year.
And that's one thing, I would reach out to them, Pete, and just be like, hey, I really want it installed by the end of this year so that I can take advantage of that tax rate.
And get it on your 2021 taxes and not have to wait a whole other year. Yeah.
And I think it actually might go down next year as well.
I don't know, because I know that they changed
I don't
things.
remember
I can't remember if it changed. As originally it was supposed to, but they've redone that, so I'd have to check to see if it does decrease or not. But you're still, I think it's still currently like 26%.
Exactly. But I would reach out to them and just say that you want to utilize that on your 2021 taxes and see if maybe they can give you an update or something. Keep me updated though. If you are having a trouble getting a hold of anyone, message me on Twitter and I can get a hold of some people and hopefully they can reach out for you. Matt, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Really do appreciate it. Said, sad I missed you guys. I believe this is the Matt that drove his Taycan out.
Oh, when was it? Did he just?
It was when we were like super busy. That it was during the week as well.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But said hopefully we come back that way, or you guys can head east sometime. Hopefully we can head east. How are you guys feeling about Rivian? So we really haven't gone into Rivian too much.
Not recently.
But things might be happening. I can't leak too much. But I really appreciate the question. I wish I could tell you more.
Yeah.
Hopefully we have some news on that soon.
Hopefully, yes. Hopefully soon. But definitely we are interested in Rivian, yes.
Although I will say this.
And how they compare to Tesla.
I much prefer the truck over the SUV. To me,
Rivian,
the SUV is kind of like, meh. It looks just like every other SUV. I really dig the truck. I think for utility-wise and what we would like, I think the truck would work out better.
It's got a lot of unique features too
It
that we
does.
haven't seen on the Cybertruck or the F-150 Lightning or any of the other electric trucks that are supposed to be coming
It
out.
does. And actually, since we're talking about this, I do kind of want to show you guys
this. So like playing around here, if you go to configure now. Okay, I was making sure I wasn't like signed in or anything. The adventure pack sounds really fun. It's a premium interior, added functionality, da 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 da. But also, supposedly it says deliveries begin in January 22, but I don't think if you order one now, you're gonna get it then. Launch edition is already full. The battery, both batteries say January 2022, which is the 314 or the 400 plus. Some cool colors.
They do have a lot more colors, yeah.
But I don't really dig the white on this. I don't think the white looks that great, and we love white. I kind of like the silver. I mean,
yeah, my first Tesla was silver, so yeah.
Here,
definitely
we'll kind of do picture.
The silver
picture.
does look nice. Okay.
Red's not bad.
Yeah, I'm sure Amy would like red.
Black looks really good. The blue, meh.
Yeah.
That limestone, I don't.
It's interesting. I haven't seen one.
It's like a bluish green almost. The dark green, I'm not a huge fan of. The granite, meh, not bad.
What? Yeah.
The yellow,
what's the
probably
white look
not.
like again? I didn't see the white.
The white, like.
I don't know. I still like the white.
Really?
Yeah. I don't see any wrong.
But what about the silver?
I like silver too, but I like the white too.
I think the silver with the matte wrap would look really good. Anyway, moving on. I was kind of looking at like some rim options and tires. So they have like their all-terrain, which look really beefy and everything, and I love that compared to the road tires. So I'd probably go something like that. And you can even do a full-size spare, which is only $800. I don't know if that's good or bad.
Yikes. Yeah, but definitely, we definitely hope to have more Rivian news in the future.
Yeah, but there were some other things I wanted to go through. Their adventure gear, so their kitchen.
Yeah,
that slides out.
Yeah.
It is $5,000. It's a lot of money, but I think it looks really cool, and I think functionally it's really awesome. And the 3-person tent is $2,600. But
Yikes.
Look how cool that is.
Yeah, it's nice, but that's kind of an expensive tent.
I think we would go camping a lot more. I don't know how but the dogs.
Yeah,
I don't know what we do with the
wouldn't be able to get up
dogs.
there. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. I was playing around with some other things.
We could use a real
other
tent
day.
on the ground. Yeah.
True. I was playing around with some other things, and I saw that and was like, oh, this is kind of cool. But yeah, hopefully stuff coming soon. Tom's Turbo Garage, though. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Really appreciate that. Said, hi, fellas. Snake Print Rivian coming soon. Thanks for the live stream. Snake Print Rivian would be interesting. I guess we could wrap it instead of doing PPF.
Yeah.
We have options. But yeah, it'll be fun when we can get one. Okay, can't go too much into it. Thank you for the $10 super chat, Tom. Really appreciate it. Let's see, where were we? Roger said your neighbors need to buy a solar generator like a Bluetti that they can use silently and recharge off a small solar
that's
array.
Interesting.
Or if you felt like being nice, you could charge it for them. I've honestly never heard of those.
We should
we'll
look
have to look
that
that up.
Give them a call.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Let me clip this and send it to myself so I remember to look that up because I don't want to forget that. If you want to answer a question while I'm doing
and we've seen
that.
some other other things. Jack, I can't remember what it was. Jackery or something like that. And I think it was like just a big battery, not as big as a Powerwall, but it was something that you could use to plug in some small appliances and, like your cell phone and stuff like that. Or if you needed, keep your internet running. So it's a lot smaller. Or a lot of people use those like when they convert their vehicles over and they're living, in like a camper van and stuff.
Yeah.
They use something like that because it's easy to charge it via solar. So this sounds like it'd be bigger than that if you're able to hopefully charge, or, run some major appliances with that.
Yeah, we'll definitely look that up. Pete asked, the latest EV tax credit proposal is the MSRP threshold based on the total price of the vehicle, including all options, or based on the base price. Honestly, I don't know, but I thought it was the base price.
Hopefully that's the case because that's what we're seeing. Like when we bought like the latest car, the Plaid, for example, didn't it show like the base price was
like 69 or
something like that, and then the other things are to make it a Plaid, and so hopefully that's what it is. But you never know. They keep changing the language of the tax credit, so we don't know yet.
Yeah,
it could change and be totally different. They keep adjusting everything, and it seems like it's getting worse. Unfortunately for Tesla, or not as good as it is from some other manufacturers, we'll say that.
Clearly, somebody else besides the government wrote that.
Paying some,
some
Playing
dinero.
some lobbyists, like, here, do this for our company. Here, Mr. Congressman. Here.
That's what it looked like
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah. Or no, it's behind the back.
Oh, sorry, it's behind the
You
back.
couldn't see it. Yeah.
Ken said, how much for the supercharger station in your house? I mean, are you trying to buy it or like how much to get one? I think that cost me like 4 or 5 G's. I've had someone offer me like 12,000 for that. Not for sale, unfortunately. But I did make a cover that I put in the garage, but technically neither one is functional because you need the whole supercharger cabinet. And those parts, I believe, are next to impossible to get.
Yeah.
You
This
could
one
probably...
lights up,
Yeah, that one does light up.
but that's all it does. It doesn't actually charge.
It does have the internals, but again, without the supercharger cabinet, you can't really utilize
with all the
full
stacked
power.
chargers. Yeah.
And those are not something like you can just go buy or something like that. He said, what are your plans with your Model X order? Keep it, try it out, then sell it. What do you think the ride will be in comparison with Model Y driving in Colorado? Model
question.
X, we have it locked in pre-price increase. So I have a feeling regardless of what we decide to do with it, we'll take delivery of it. As far as how long we keep it or where it goes or if it goes to a friend or whatever, I don't really know yet. We're kind of playing it by ear because it really depends on when it shows up.
Yeah, but definitely
That's a big thing.
We did get our delivery date back again. So for the longest time, we placed that order back in December of last year. For the longest time, we didn't have a delivery date, and then I think it finally said August. And then that disappeared, and they changed us to December.
Yep.
Then that date disappeared for a while, but we did get our December date back. And we do hear some other people still have like September. That's not going to happen. But some people, I think, still have September delivery dates for their X. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to probably be more like January for those. But it'd be interesting. I would expect, within the next couple of days, those September Model X delivery dates are going to be pushed to January.
Or
We're hoping-
February even.
Or later, yeah. But we're hoping that still December will be the first delivery dates for our Model X, and that we'll be getting it.
Yes.
And he was also asking about the air suspension or the ride. We definitely think that the ride will be better than
You bet.
on the Model Y just because of the air suspension. Because we've had the Model 3 and Model Y without air suspension, and we even had a Model S at one time without an air suspension, and it's still a good ride. But definitely when we do have the air suspension, especially with the Raven suspension or the new 2021 suspension, it's just so much better.
It's wild. And actually, in the recent update, which we received on the Plaid, hopefully that video's out tomorrow, kind of going over what that includes, they recalibrated their suspension algorithm yet again to improve ride quality. And I'll just say that ride is the best ride I've ever experienced in a Tesla. So it's super comfy.
And it's
I'm
nice
happy
though
with
how
it.
you can see right there in the car. You can see all the it shows
The
you
real-time stats.
the rebound and all this, and it's cool too that if we're driving on a bumpy road, like going out to the airport or something, it says that it adjusts the suspension to make the ride smoother. So it knows that normally it's at one level, but it's like, oh, this is a really bumpy road, and it will automatically adjust.
Yeah. So a lot of times, like if it's a bumpy road, it'll say raising
raising.
suspension to allow for more comfort.
Yeah.
And so, while you might have a little bit more wheel gap because the car lifts up a bit, it's going to feel much better. And I think that's what I would be more concerned with than how the car looks like that.
But definitely the suspension on the S and X is going to be better than on the 3 or the Y.
Yep.
And again, we are still planning at this date to get the X, but we don't know how long we'll keep it. And for those you don't know, back in 2019, we did buy a Model X, and then like a week later, they came out with the Raven Model X. So we immediately sold ours, and we sold it. We probably had like 1,000 miles on it when we listed it. And by the time we delivered it to the buyer, it had less than 2,000 miles on it.
Yes. I guess that kind of sums it up. Matt said in South Carolina, you get like 50% back on federal rebate, so maybe helps with my position on Powerwalls. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, definitely check, because even some utility
states,
companies,
yeah.
some states, and the federal, so it really helps, and it really helps that payback period. So our solar, we've only had it about 3 years. Part of it we've only had 2 years, but we're expecting to break even on our solar in about 6 years total. Maybe a little bit longer for some of the panels, but overall 6 to 7 years, and we will be paid off. Well, we already paid off all our solar, but we'll be breaking even, and then everything for the next 20 plus years is free electricity.
Yeah. And we don't have a fuel bill. I think that's the
No
biggest
gas
thing
bill either.
that a lot of people kind of miss is we don't pay for gasoline because we don't have any ICE cars. We charge everything from the sun through our solar panels. So that is a huge savings right there.
Pierre said, will my aftermarket Tesla floodlights that show the T work on the refresh? Meaning, are the door lights still rectangular? Unfortunately, no. They have
totally
redesigned all of them. They are now circular, and the rectangle lights will not fit. It is a very big bummer. Things are being worked on behind the scenes, though.
Alternatives. So we'll let you know when we hear more about that.
Yep.
But yeah, unfortunately, your old puddle lamps and stuff won't work.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Abstract Ocean is in chat, so welcome. Anyone who asked about the Plaid You're Here mats for like your garage or your entryway or whatever, they are in production. They should be here in a month or so. So keep an eye out for the website. And we'll definitely tweet it out or whatever once they become available so you guys can know. A little bit of this and that said, hey guys, I hope you're doing well. Excited to see Rivian come to market, but was disappointed with the Motor Trend video as it showed all the shiny stuff, but nothing changing charging and consumption. Yes. Now, there is a lady that's racing a Rivian, one of the trucks in an event coming up.
Wow.
And she actually tweeted a video. I should try to find that because I think I liked it. Let me see what I can find. But anyway, she tweeted a video. She went to Electrify America and was only getting like 36 kilowatts. It was on a 350 rated.
But could that be the same issue, or had she been driving the? We don't know.
She said it was like almost empty or whatever. It was gonna take 90 minutes to get to 80%.
But we don't know. That could be an Electrify America, or is that a Rivian? We don't know.
It sounds like Electrify America because she tried 2 other chargers at that location.
Yeah.
One wouldn't do anything. And so it just... This is, again, why I want to point out Tesla will always have a superior charging network until someone else comes along and builds one specific for their vehicles. Because Electrify America, from what we have seen, doesn't maintain their system.
Not consistent. Yeah, we just saw another video. Sad. We just watched another video like yesterday and about a road trip, and we've seen all kinds of videos where people try to use Electrify America, and I don't think I've ever seen one where they don't have any problems and it just worked perfectly. And the latest one we saw, they were like, we stopped here, it didn't work, so we had to go 4 hours out of our way, or drive really slow to go to this one, and we were 4 hours out of our way, and it's just like they do not maintain their stations, and it's really unfortunate. So hopefully
it gives EVs a bad name. Is what it does.
It's almost like it's intentional, or they're just not dedicated to it. They had to do it as part of a lawsuit, that Dieselgate thing, and they're just still it doesn't compare.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the tweet. Sorry, I'm like,
okay, well,
I thought I liked it, but I'm not finding it in my liked tweets, so it might take me a little while to find it, but. Yeah, I'll have to figure it out because what this lady was having to go through to try to charge it was a nightmare, and that should never be the case. Let's see. Therius said, any idea why the new Model S is taking so long to arrive in Europe?
Well, it's also taking a long time to arrive in the United States. As we might have mentioned, we do have an X on order that's been delayed, but we actually have a Model S that we placed the order for in January of this year, and we still don't have delivery. It's a long range that's maybe coming in October, November. We don't know. So we understand your frustration that it's still not coming to Europe at all yet. But I would hope that they're going to start having those maybe by Q1. Is that or did they delay it? Did they delay it?
I think it's delayed even further.
Oh, yikes! So they're still getting ramped up, and I think it's just also like supply chain issues, and they're just not churning them out as fast as they did in the past, and they're just getting ramped up. It's like all new. While it might look the same on the outside, it seems like all the parts on the inside have changed, and so they're just trying to get those back through their suppliers and get things ramped up on the production side. But definitely understand your frustration there, but hopefully we'll see them sometime in 2022.
Yes. It's been a long ramp up for this, and I don't think the world situation has been helping much on that. Black House Brew said, my vents are starting to get stinky in my Y. Had it for 9 months. I've heard it can be a problem in the 3 and the Y. Going to replace the air filters. Should I clean the coils too? I've never cleaned the coils. I think replacing the air filters does a good job. I would definitely try to do like the HEPA replacements if you're gonna replace them. I've been really happy with them, and we did a whole test. We actually took a match and put that outside the car right where the air gets sucked in, and we couldn't smell it in the car, which is really kind of nice. And our channel sponsor, Abstract Ocean, actually does carry those as well.
And I saw Don was saying it's 26%. We were talking about the federal tax credit for solar.
Yes.
And you were thinking it might go down. It looks like, they did get extended, so it's still staying at 26% for 2022. So there's no rush. You're not going to lose money.
It's just going to take you another year to get that refund.
Year to get that refund, yeah. So hopefully you can get your solar installed in 2021, but if not, you'll still get the same amount tax credit back in 2022.
Yeah, I would still call them though and just be like, hey,
Yeah, see if they can get it.
I want
They still
this.
have several months, so I think hopefully they'll be able to do that.
Yeah. Diego said no more secrets.
Yeah,
Kind of the theme here.
Rivian,
Let's see. Morgan said had solar and Powerwall scheduled to be installed in June, but they couldn't do the install because I have a rolled roof, and they said that solar mounts wouldn't work. Super bummed. I don't know what a rolled roof is.
Is it metal roof? Because I know that like different.
Let me look.
I don't know. It might be a metal roof, but I know that there's different kinds of metal roofs.
Roofing.
I know that Tesla is limited. Like they kind of don't do all roofs. Like for the longest time, they wouldn't do flat roofs. I think they might in some regions, but also for like metal roofs, you have to have like a standing seam or something because then they can have brackets that connect. But if it's
It sounds like it's just like asphalt rolls that they just like lay down.
interesting.
Is it a flat roof, Morgan? Maybe.
That might be because depending on the region and stuff, they don't do different routes. That's unfortunate, but hopefully you can find another installer that can do solar for you and still do power walls. And if not, you might be able to still now buy those power walls separately and get them installed with that other solar company.
Yep. I'm getting into the Rivian comments now. Just FYI, I'm like 15 minutes behind on comments, so we're working on them. But everyone started commenting about the Rivian. Matt said, same, I want RS1 or R1S interior, but having a truck on pre-order. Tunnel's dope for functionality.
Yeah, definitely
Agreed.
the tunnel, yeah.
The tent on the back is good. Yeah. The tunnel I really like. Biker Bug said the Rivian truck on order. Looking forward to the Explorer package, white on white with big silver rims.
That sounds like something we would buy. Yeah,
That
white
does,
on white.
actually. Matt said white would be good with matte, but the L cap looks great.
It is nice they have so many different choices. It's like one thing that
Yes.
Tesla had a lot more choices in the past, or at least a few more choices in the past. But once the Model 3 came out, they cut a couple colors and they made it so you can't configure the interior exactly you want. I wish they'd bring that back. How they had it back in early, pre-2017. You were able to have a lot more choices with Tesla.
Matt said he sent a picture of that color, and so he DM'd me a photo of it. I just asked him if I can show it on stream. Hopefully he lets us know. But it does look really good. He said, yeah, 5K. It has a shuttle with outlets in it. Pretty cool. Also, the tents are always expensive, so that's not unreasonable. Because the tent's like $2,600.
Yeah.
The tunnel thing is like $5,000.
I guess if you compare I guess if you compare the price of the tent to a camper or an RV, it's a
way
lot
cheap,
cheaper.
yeah.
But I mean, compared to just a regular tent you put on the ground, it's a lot more expensive. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then Sergeant Bolt said Tesla needs to make a motorhome. Imagine the batteries
definitely.
you could put in that thing, though.
And Elon did mention it recently about doing like a van or something like that, right? And so hopefully, as they start expanding, if they don't build them themselves, hopefully they'll team up with somebody like Winnebago or something, and they'll build it for them.
Yeah.
Just use like a Tesla drivetrain or something.
He said it wasn't his photo, but it's been shared in Rivian form, so I'll just YOLO. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
And you can see I was Googling rolled roof to figure out what that was.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think it looks cool in that color.
We need to head
It's kind of like the midnight silver metallic.
We need to head up to Silverthorne again because
We do.
there are always like EVs, or not EVs, but there's always
Testing.
mules up there, and we might be able to see some different vehicles that we haven't.
Jim said camp in the tent, put the dogs in the Rivian bed with a ramp so they can go up and down at night. Well, our dogs sleep with people, so they would just be up all night.
They'd be up.
With anyone sleeping up top. Let's see. Rich said 2021.32.10 also activates camera-based driver nag. Ooh.
I thought they'd had that in another release, but maybe
Mine doesn't.
it didn't make it out yet.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I've kind of tested it a little bit. Really curious how that works. I suspect the addition of.
I thought you turned that
Oh,
off.
I thought I turned that off. But,
Sorry.
I
thought you turned that off. Can you turn it off? Okay. Thanks for the super chat.
Thanks for the super chat. I'm still working on the text to speech to try to figure out how to make it.
It's a little slow.
a little better. But I do appreciate the $20, Matt. Wow. Really appreciate the super chat. It said firsthand 5,000 mile.
So this is the Matt that came through that we couldn't meet.
Yes,
right?
with the
Okay,
Taycan.
yeah.
In case you guys didn't hear when Streamlabs tried to read it out.
Yeah.
Firsthand 5,000 mile road trip experience here with EA. One place had 3 fails and 1 working at full speed. A few had a few at 35
yeah.
and some were capped at 150, but most worked at full speed. Clear that EA needs to step it up though.
Yeah.
It's just like I would have. I know like Electrify America is kind of like. I don't know the right words to put it, but it wasn't born out of desire to make it. It was born out of a fine or
Yeah.
getting in trouble. That's what it was kind of born out of. And if they would have made this because they really believed in EVs, I think it would have been executed a lot better. But because Electrify America was born out of like a punishment, I don't think they fully care about it. And also, like, when they decided to shut down the entire East Coast on a holiday weekend to do maintenance, it's like,
Oops.
you can't find a better time to do this?
Speaking of which, okay, but we gotta say,
yeah, I guess, yeah.
Tesla is not 100% perfect either.
Yeah.
Sometimes Tesla superchargers are out of order, but typically, in advance, and they've done great jobs upgrading the interface in the car, and you can see it'll say there's a 2 stalls out of order or something like that. There's this many available, but there's still sometimes where there's problems. Speaking of which. Scott was up in Edwards, Colorado. They just opened up the new supercharger, Tesla, a week ago. Scott showed up, wanted to stop by, test it out. He gets there, and there's a set of contractors there, and they have it all coned off saying it's closed. And we're like, no, it's not, because it's online navigation. It's routing us here. We do not have enough mileage to make it to the next supercharger. They wanted to repaint the lines because the lines weren't painted when they turned the supercharger on last week. And so the guys show up on a Saturday morning and decide to just close it off themselves without contacting Tesla beforehand. And so it's still showing up in the navigation. So that was definitely a fault of the contractor. Luckily, they did move a couple cones, and Scott and another vehicle were able to charge, but then they basically closed it off, and other people showed up and they were not allowed to charge. So it's still not perfect for Tesla, but that was more the contractor's fault, not Tesla's.
But from like a...
At least the superchargers themselves were working, but
Yeah.
the problem is that they were being blocked because the guys were trying to paint the line. So
Yeah.
Tesla definitely needs their contractors to communicate better with them and let them know when they're going to do that. But also, work like this should be done like on a Tuesday or Wednesday when they're not going to be busy. Everybody's up in the mountains on Saturday and Sunday, so they shouldn't be trying to paint lines on a Saturday.
Terrible timing.
Yeah.
But to finish the rest of Rich's post, sorry I didn't finish that. He said about the camera-based driver nag. Said, I suspect the addition of that is one reason why they've waited for the button for FSD wide beta. Interesting thought. I don't think they have done any FSD betas in new Model S's yet either. That's what I heard.
Like the refreshed long range and Plaid.
Yeah, so hopefully that comes soon too.
But definitely crossing our fingers, hopefully we get on the list one of these months.
2 weeks. Wayne said, if you order a Performance Model Y today, do you get a 2021 or a 2022? Really depends on when it was built.
Yeah.
And how fast they can get it to you, and if it's in
assuming,
stock. Or...
So for the past couple of years, since I believe October of 2019, they've kind of switched over the VIN. So there is a chance. So if you definitely want a 2022, I would at least wait until October 1st to place your order, or check back with us at the beginning of October, and we can tell you if they've switched over the VIN to a 2022. There might be zero changes hardware-wise. It might be the only change they have is the VIN being a 2022 model. There might be a couple other minor changes, but they're not going to do any major changes. And Tesla just is constantly changing it. So if you need a 2022 just because you want a 2022, I would wait another couple of weeks before placing your order.
Yep. We're going to speed round because now I'm 20 minutes behind on questions. Sorry. Roger said only vision cars or vision-only cars already have the camera active, and boy, does it pitch a fit if you pick up your phone.
Oh.
I really want to try vision.
Maybe that's where I've heard it. So they did have the camera on vision-only cars.
Yeah.
Because I did know that it was doing that for some people.
Okay.
So now they're turning it on for
everybody. Brendan said, how are your hopes on FSD releasing to general after V10 release? 2 weeks. To be honest, I've stopped thinking about it. When I get it, I'll be super surprised, but I don't want to get my hopes up.
Yeah,
We've been there.
Yeah.
Sergeant Bolt said, can't wait till Model Y goes to full cameras. I'm tired of phantom braking. That would be frustrating. Luke said the EA video was hilarious. I'm trying to find it. I can't find it, but if you find it, Luke, definitely let me know. Some Tesla guy said, delivered a Model Y Performance MSM with white interior, sold my 2021 Model 3 long range with 16,000 miles on it for $8K more than I paid.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah. Awesome deal. Love it.
We do still have a Performance Y for sale, but
somebody has reached out today asking how they can put a deposit on it.
So it might be for sale, but definitely we have one. Well, we'll see.
Yeah. Jim said your car should say powered by the sun. That would be cool.
I thought about that a long time. My first license plate was going to be like solar power, but somebody else already had, or solar. But I think one of our friends had, like, wasn't it Rexford or somebody has his plate is something like solar and wind or wind and solar or something like that. But,
I'll have to ask him.
Yeah, I remember because I was like, that's the plate I wanted.
Yeah. Mando said hey guys, any news on if you're getting the FSD button beta? No, not yet. Omar said that supposedly we're on the list for when it comes to Plaid Model S's, so I guess we'll see. That would be awesome. Luke said the MKBHD video was funny too.
That's one, yeah.
Speaking on that video, we watched that video and we had a lot of complaints.
Criticisms, yes.
Do you think it would be interesting for us to do a video critiquing MKBHD's video of road tripping?
Yeah, because basically he was trying to compare a nice vehicle with the Ford Mach-E and a Tesla Plaid, and he was comparing how fast they can drive on the road trip. But he did so many things wrong with the Tesla that made it probably take an hour or two more than what it could have done if he had done it right.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised though, because he's owned Teslas for a while, so I just couldn't believe they're just like they didn't charge overnight, or they did this, or they charged too long on this one. So I was surprised by a lot of the things he did, because they could have made Tesla look much better than they did in that video.
Yeah. Definitely something that I don't know. I think we should make a reaction or like a critique video, because we had to pause it several times to argue with the TV about why that was happening.
Why'd he do that?
Yeah, so
I think save time here.
I think we should do it. I think it'd be a funny video.
Yeah, we'll just have to watch that again.
Yeah. Fred, thank you for the $5 super chat. No comment.
Thanks,
if
Fred.
you had something you wanted to say, definitely just drop it in regular chat. Totally fine. But I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. Gustavo said, I saw the YouTube video where someone installed a Plaid yoke in a Model 3 and it fit. However, it didn't connect. Have you guys tried to see if the wheels actually work? So, I mean, it'll fit, but your connector for the scroll wheel and all the other buttons, none of that's going to work. So, I know, like, if you want to take your Plaid or whatever to a racetrack, you could technically take the scroll wheel, steering wheel off of a older Model S or maybe even a 3 and a Y. I don't know about the older Model S. But you could technically switch that over and it'd still drive okay. But one, you wouldn't get the airbag. Two, you wouldn't get any of the scroll wheel functionality or any of the buttons. All that wouldn't work.
Would you reboot
so you'd
the
probably
car?
get what?
How would you reboot it?
You wouldn't.
I guess you might be able to go to the screen, assuming the screen is working.
Working.
But yeah, and also there are some aftermarket yokes, and we've had a yoke on the Model 3 and the Model Y over the past. They weren't the Plaid yoke, but now some of these aftermarket companies do have one that looks more like the Plaid one. But you still have to provide your own old buttons.
No one's gotten the design of the Plaid for 3 and Y because
yet,
the way the wheel works and everything, it's really tough. So I still think they don't look that great. But I do know some aftermarket companies are working on full-size steering wheels for S and X refresh. So I know that's coming. They've reached out. I've said I've been interested to test them out as soon as they have it. So I guess as soon as they do, I will let you guys know. Let's see. 2 super chats in a row.
At the same time, almost the same amount too. Well,
yeah.
Jay Pavilion.
Thank you for the $10 super chat. Said, hey man, canceled my refreshed Model S long range order after it got pushed back to January. It was gonna be December, then November, then now January. I'm looking for a hybrid now.
Oh no, that's
a bummer.
That's a bummer. I'm hoping, and it's too late now because you already canceled it. But sometimes they're able to push that up, and definitely when they talk about the third quarter push or the fourth quarter push, they might have been able to get it for you in December, but it's too late now. But But good luck in your car search.
Yes.
Sorry that you got delayed, but I know
Best of
if
luck.
you need a car, you need a car. And
Exactly.
you can't wait till January. We definitely understand that.
You
Fortunately,
bet.
for our order, we're long range. We can wait for it, but definitely understand your needs there.
It is a predicament that's tough because a lot of people like, I mean, when you order a car, you don't expect to wait months or even a year.
Yeah.
It's tough. So I understand. I hope we can get you into a Tesla soon. But hey, even a hybrid, we'll take it. It's better than a giant gas truck or diesel truck or any of that. And then Pierre with the $10 super chat said the Arachnid wheels have a plus 40 offset for both rear and front. The wheels I have are 20-inch with a 30 in the front and 40 in the rear. So just a 10 millimeter spacer in the back. Sorry, I'm thinking real quick and I'm looking.
I know.
Oh yeah, so the new Arachnids are 40-40. I guess I didn't scroll. I was looking at the 19-inch, but the 21s are 40-40. He says he has 20-inch, so I guess it would be kind of midway. 30 in the front, 40 in the rear. Yeah, I mean, you could probably just do a 10 spacer in the back. That's not a bad idea. Yeah. Well, you said 30 in the front, 40 in the rear. So you'd need the 10 millimeter spacer in the front. Yeah, you could try it for sure. Just make sure you get one that's rated and has studs and everything for a very heavy vehicle. That's the
So
only
is the spacer? Is it like a big plate? Like
I think I might have some upstairs, but I don't know right where they are. Otherwise, I'd grab it. But you can either
like
get
a big
plate
washer or something.
But for a 10 millimeter spacer, you probably want one with built-in studs. Normally the plate spacers, it just kind of goes on there, pushes the wheel out a little bit more. Normally you don't like to go over 5 millimeters because you're subtracting that 10 millimeter from your grip of your lug nut if you do that. So you got to be careful and make sure you can get enough grip of the lug nut to make sure your wheel stays on.
Yeah.
So just be careful with spacers, but I think that would work. Maybe reach out to T Sportline, or if you want me to, message me, and I can ask them for sure as well. Jay Pavilion, though, came back with another $5 super chat and said, oh, hey, don't worry. I'll be watching your videos and sub still. Thank you. But yeah, I fully understand. It is a long wait right now, for sure.
It'd be better if they were better with communication and stuff like that. They did send out an email because a lot of people were complaining. They sent out an email, but some people have been waiting, a year or more. So hopefully, again, supply chain issues, all that stuff, but they could do better with communication, I think.
Yep. Mando said, I see Tesla Daily got it recently and was very impressed trying it out. Yeah, I saw the video and everything. I'm very jealous, but glad to see he's enjoying it. Michael said, what's the verdict on using supercharger as primary form of charging? It's not normally the best.
It's just that it can create a lot of stress on the battery, and Tesla keeps track of your like AC charging and your DC charging, and at least with the older batteries like the 90s, 85s, and maybe even the 100s, I don't know about the 100s for sure, but they would restrict or slow down your supercharging once you reached a certain threshold, just because it put too much stress on the vehicle. So definitely, if that's all you have to do, do it. But if you can do AC, it's less stressful on the car.
Yep. Just because you're not trying to push all that energy so fast, so the batteries will actually last longer.
Yeah.
Theria said, what are the benefits of getting 21-inch tires on Model S apart from the look? Can the original 19-inch be replaced by aftermarket 21-inch that will be compatible with 200 miles an hour? 21-inch, the look, but also they can have benefits too, depending on what you're trying to do with the car. Are you like tracking it, or are you doing just like drag races, etc.? The original 19-inch tires be replaced with aftermarket 21-inch tires that compatible with 200. I think it also has to do with like the wheel itself. You got to make sure like those can withstand the extra pressure and
the temperatures and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's definitely, we don't know yet because Tesla hasn't come out with a 200 mile. They still say that's coming later this year. You'll need special wheels and tires for that. So I haven't seen any other aftermarket aftermarket ones that
Yeah.
can do the 200 miles yet either.
You're
But we
definitely
do
going
know
to need separate tires because
Yeah.
the current ones are definitely not rated for 200.
But we do know the current ones can at least reach 160 miles per hour. At least for short bursts.
Been there. Biker Bug said clean the AC with a product called Foam Fresh. You can get it at your own pest control. It's organic material cleaning product. Interesting. I'll have to look
Another
that
thing
up.
too, some people talk about the desiccant packet and stuff that's in there. I don't know. Some people
Yeah.
take it into the service center to get that changed, but I think that's kind of not the cheapest thing, just because they got to take things apart. But something you can try yourself.
Yep. Let's see. Proto Kyle said, "Where's the best track day here in the Front Range? Looking to do some laps before the winter circuit, not drag strip." So there's really not a lot. You have like High Plains Raceway. That's where I'll be going. You do have what's the place down south? Pikes Peak International Raceway
In Colorado Springs.
They have their big loop track, but they also do have like an interior track. It's definitely smaller. High Plains Raceway is probably going to be your best bet. Personally, never been there, but I'm super excited to go. Abstract Ocean said Tesla Solar won't do flat roofs in Texas, but they do in some states where flat roofs are more common.
Yeah.
That's kind of lame.
Yeah, I think it's
They'll
just
do it
'cause-
elsewhere, but not in Texas.
Yeah, they're not. Their teams aren't trained for that probably in those.
Lame. Hopefully that changes soon as well.
Yeah.
Santos said, I did a Toronto to California road trip.
Wow.
When I first got my Model S, that was 3 years ago. Loved it. Met up with Eli. Great guy. Had a blast out there. Was thinking about planning another trip and meet you two. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, if you do, tweet us, DM us, or whatever.
Yeah, we're in the
and,
Denver area, so most of the time, but definitely we're not always available. So give us some
During
heads
the
up.
week can be tougher than the
Yeah.
weekend. Not gonna lie.
So give us a heads up.
Tesla Tim said, sorry I'm late. No, you're good. Happy to have you here. Roger said the AC smell is largely eliminated if you manually turn off AC and recirculate, but leave the fans running
Yeah,
to
we
dry
forgot
out
to
the
mention
coils
that.
for a few minutes before you park. True.
And they did come out with a software update last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago, to try to eliminate that, or so that when you do park your car, it would keep running for a while. But obviously, it's not perfect if people with a Model Y, which has only been out for a little over a year, are still having the issue. But yeah, you can run your fan. And sometimes when I was driving home in my S, when I was still driving home from work, I would just turn off the AC, like you said, like a mile or so before home, and the car would stay cool enough for that final mile, but it would just dry it out a little bit.
Yep. And Luke also said, search MM Motorsports for the Electrify America Rivian tweets. So I just pulled that up, but it's a nightmare. There's several like follow-ups and everything. There's like 38 seconds, 24 seconds, and some other ones. So go check that out though, and you can see it was very frustrating indeed. Hopefully Rivian and Electrify America can figure out what was going on. Let's see. Biker Bug said, how long are people having to wait for Model 3? I wanted to add one for my wife as a replacement for her C300. The performance variants are pretty quick, but long range and SR Pluses can potentially go to 2022 for deliveries. Long time. Let's
Just gonna chat with
see.
her for a second. You want to talk about that? It was.
I mean, you can if you want.
Well, when we get there.
Okay. That's funny. Jim said aftermarket companies may eventually make their own Rivian tents. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. It looks like the Rivian one is actually in collaboration with Yakima. Yep, it's in collaboration with Yakima. Matt did say a little funny, but there were two sets of superchargers down and Tesla's charging at Electrify America Chatamo. Not the norm, but kind of funny. That is kind of funny, especially given what we're talking about.
We're still waiting for a CCS adapter.
Yep.
I heard that, we heard that Tesla has one coming out in South Korea. And there is one that's from like China via South Korea that is now available in the United States, but it's not an official Tesla one. Where they do have it available in Europe. Tesla has their very own in Europe, so we're still wishing Tesla would bring the CCS adapter to the United States. Not that we're planning on using it as our primary charging equipment.
Gives you extra
but
options,
it gives you
though.
options, just because there might be a place where maybe the supercharger station, has 20 Teslas and they're all full, and the Electrify America has like 4 stalls and nobody's using them because they usually don't work.
Exactly.
But we can at least give it a try.
Yeah, Matt did say overall his girlfriend said she preferred the Taycan over the X for road trips.
Oh,
I'm really excited to try out the Taycan. I'm bummed we couldn't meet
I haven't
up.
seen it yet.
I've seen a few on the road, but yeah, maybe we just need to make a road trip out east and meet up with you. Roger Anderson Hopefully I said that correctly. It said, did the Plaid play Snake Jazz? Would be dope with the reptile rap. Yes, we have done it. It's pretty funny. That pedestrian warning speaker in the Plaid is really loud too. It's much louder than the Y.
Yeah.
Jim said VW just wanted to pretend they cared. It's like a kid forced to eat spinach only when mom is looking. I love it. Perfect analogy. Luke said there is a rumor that Electrify America was looking to sell. Please get out of the space. But here's the thing, is if they sell, I don't want them to be able to profit off of that because they had to make that because they screwed up royally. And that was part of their punishment. So if they can profit off of it, I have issues with that.
Yeah. I was going to address the comment that somebody made earlier saying two guys in their mom's basement. We're not in our mom's basement. This is our basement.
Bum, bum, bum.
And we've purchased 13 Teslas with our own money. Thank you.
Oh, snap. Did you snap? Oh, there you go. Hopefully you guys heard the snap. It was there. Jim said...
How many Teslas have you bought, Will? 13?
Oh,
I don't think so.
Will just got called out. Jim said...
My mom now owns her own Tesla, though, by the way.
Oh, she does.
That she paid with her own money.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Wow.
That she bought from us.
True. Jim said, did I see correctly that a van would be designed for disabled drivers? I'd love that. Yes. I'm really happy you brought that up. Thank you. I had actually kind of spaced that. I was really happy to see that because I think them opening up other platforms to allow for other kinds of drivers is great. And
the thing too is like it's really nice because the way Tesla it is that you can control so much, and once it's on autopilot,
true,
that you don't even. I mean, you do still need to use the pedal currently. So definitely for disabled drivers, they might need some sort of different controls. But with all the buttons up there, maybe they can do it without having to add on separate steering wheel controls.
Yeah.
But it's like the cool thing is I very rarely use the accelerator in my Tesla when I drive. It's get it to speed or just set it to autopilot and then increase the speed with either the scroll wheel or the gear lever, or not the gear lever, the other lever for the tack in the older car.
Yeah. Somebody said, how do we feel about fans stopping by, knocking on your front door to say hello? Please don't do that. There's like safe place. It's like we don't really advertise any of that. But I do see that you did super chat $2. Said just a fan, love you guys, really want to meet you too. Send me a DM on Twitter, and we can let you know when we're like out at a supercharger or whatever.
Yeah.
Or if you see us like out at a store or whatever, you see any of the cars, by all means, like feel free to stop by and say hi. I just don't like people at my house. That's the only thing I ask.
Unless you want to buy a Performance Model Y.
Then we'll talk. It seems like several people want us to do the MKBHD video, so I think we need to do that.
We had several things we could have done better, and we're not obviously going to be able to redo that trip because we don't live in New York. But
we can point out what we would have done better.
Yeah. And I think if we crunch the numbers, do a better route planner, you could definitely save an hour and a half on that trip.
Yeah. Another Pierre said 2 Pierres in chat. Ha ha ha. Yeah, there tend to be like, I think at one point there were like 3 or 4 Rogers. So
it's hard to
sorry if we
or sometimes we have multiple Chris's.
Chris's.
Yeah, a lot of common names.
Yep. Jason said, do you know timeline of Plaid getting 4160 cells?
I think it means 4680.
Yeah, I think you mean 4680. Would it be worth waiting for? I mean, technically that would be the Plaid Plus.
Yeah, which was supposedly canceled. So I wouldn't count on it until you hear about it. It's not coming anytime soon, I think, because if they just came out with this one, they're going to have to redo the battery pack again and the frame again. So it's just like, I don't think it's coming anytime soon. We were definitely disappointed because we did have the reservation in for that because we were looking forward to that 500-mile range. But we're not holding out for that. We went ahead and got the Plaid.
Yeah. Some more question about the arachnids being wide and having like a high offset. There's a lot that go into wheels. I need to see like the actual wheel numbers. But Pierre, if you have any questions, just message me on Twitter. I will look it up and look up all the measurements, and I can kind of figure it out off stream when I have like a few seconds to like think about it. And I can also message the guys at T Sportline and see if there's a way to do it that would actually work. Because if anyone's tried it, it's gotta have been them. Let's see. D. Michael said, what about solar running AC? So at our place, we actually don't have AC. We're in Colorado. We went with an evaporative cooler. It actually just takes water,
runs it down like a filter, and then has a fan
The
pull
Aspen
air
pads,
through
yeah.
that and push it into the house. And so it humidifies the air and gives us like the benefits of being able to cool the air with water. Really drops the temperature in the house quite a bit. It can get really cold,
Yeah.
but it doesn't work in places with high humidity, obviously. It's using that humidity to drop the temperature. But in drier climates, it's a great alternative to AC because it uses almost no electricity
yeah.
compared to actual air conditioning units, which can be power hogs.
Yeah, we can show you our graphs one of these days. We'll show our power graphs, but you can never tell when our evaporative cooler is running because it only uses like a couple hundred watts, I think. I could multiply it out. It's not very much. Sometimes maybe a kilowatt, but it's way less. Whereas when you see air conditioners coming on, going, even if they have like a slow start, you can definitely tell when the air conditioner is running. With our evaporative cooler, you cannot tell because it's such a low impact on our electrical usage in the house.
Yeah. Chris said I'm back on the road for work now, and I know I actually follow your travels on Instagram. That sounded kind of creepy. I did not mean it to come out like that. I just follow you on Instagram, and it's kind of fun to watch. And he said my older P85 charges a little slow by new Tesla standards,
Yeah.
but it's nice to have free supercharging for life.
Definitely.
Especially, yeah. Like, I mean, for us, it really wouldn't cost us too much for supercharging because we really don't utilize it. But anyone who travels for work or has a long distance travel and supercharges a lot, that adds up quick.
Yeah, and definitely
really
like
does.
the person that I sold my first S90D to, it was a 2016 that had that free transferable supercharging. That's one of the reasons he bought it, is because
Yeah.
he wanted to not ever have to pay for charging again. And he does a lot of road trips, and some people get thousands of dollars of worth, out of that every year. Other people, if you only use it $50 a year, it's not really as much of an incentive, but definitely important to some.
Yeah. Abstract Ocean said David's on fire. Like that was when you were talking to Will.
This is not my mom's basement.
We own this basement. A little bit of this and that. I said, is it me or has Tesla hate recently been ramped up by some influencers and certain publications?
It's always been that way.
It's always been that way, but it seems like a few publications, won't mention any names, have kind of always hated on Tesla, and recently even more so. And I think it's honestly because they don't make any money from Tesla. And if you look who really owns these publications and follow the trail of money, you can see who's advertising with them, who's paying them. Tesla's not one of those. Tesla doesn't need to. If you follow the trail of money, you will have a much clearer view on outcomes.
Yeah, but it also is interesting though, because there have been a few influencers recently that have kind of just jumped ship or changed their tune. So we're still happy with Tesla. No, they're not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but we're happy with them. We don't have any complaints. We've had 13 Teslas over the past 5 years, and really no bills other than having to replace a wiring harness because of a rodent that chewed through it at the airport, and that was like $300.
Yeah.
Other than that, everything's been covered by warranty, and all of our issues have been very minor. So we don't have major complaints about Tesla.
I actually thought that $200 was from a door handle, but it wasn't. It was actually the wiring harness.
Yep.
So I actually misspoke recently. I do have a complaint about Tesla, and I would like to air that right now. I do not have FSD beta.
That's a big one, yeah.
That is my big
But
complaint
I mean,
about
that's
Tesla.
it's still very limited. If
It
you look at the
is,
number
it
of
is.
cars, it's like only
I don't even think
2,000
anyone in
people.
Colorado even has it.
Not that I've heard, yeah.
But that is my biggest complaint. There's recently some threads on Twitter that I was involved in. To date, I think it was $37,000 we've spent specifically on FSD.
Yeah, combined
on 7 of the 13 Teslas.
It combined between all the vehicles since 2016. It's $64,000 has been spent on enhanced autopilot, or full self-driving.
Yep.
And so we've
37 of that
has
is
been
specifically FSD,
which really hasn't been released yet.
Exactly.
So
yes,
that's probably the most of anybody out there.
Yeah,
there's probably
it's pretty
very
dang
few
high.
people who have spent that much money on full self-driving and not gotten the beta. Or not
I don't know.
gotten
Is that
full
something we really want to brag about?
I don't know.
But I will say this: I did not buy FSD. Sorry, I'm getting on a tangent again. I'm like 10 minutes behind on super chats or chats again. I did not buy FSD on the Plaid. Reason one, I didn't know exactly how long I was going to keep it. I've fallen in love with the vehicle. I still don't know how long I'll keep it, but it's amazing. Number two, it's $10,000. It's a big chunk of change. Now, that being said, if I was to get FSD beta,
I would gladly pay the 10K or I'd do the 200 a month subscription. No questions asked. But without that, it's hard to justify for myself.
Yeah, especially when you compare like the S100D. When we bought it, it came with enhanced autopilot.
Exactly.
It came with almost all the same functionality for like the $5,000, which they're now charging $10,000 for. So it's hard to pay the $10,000 when we paid $5,000 for it before.
Exactly.
And they still haven't had true full self-driving released.
Yep. Biker Bug said, any suggestions for a good NEMA 1450 splitter so I can plug in 2 Teslas at the same time from one source?
Yeah, I don't know about that because we basically have, we don't
know.
have those. We use the load balance wall connectors. We haven't really needed to research splitters like that.
But like there's a splitter for a washer and dryer, but that you can either do one or the other. You can't do both.
Yeah, it doesn't limit.
I don't know when that does
But it would
both.
be automatic. So that's something, though, he might be able to look up something. There's a couple different products. One of them is called the Dryer Buddy, I think. But instead of using a dryer, you could, I guess, hook in 2.
But doesn't that have a knob where you can either do the dryer
it has an
or...
automatic.
Oh, it does?
I mean,
Okay.
there's cheap versions that you have to be careful about that will overload it. But if you pay for the more like automatic one, he's got all these different versions. They're not named. You got to shop around and find the right one. But it will automatically switch over. Again, it's meant for charging a car and using a clothes dryer. But you could, I suppose, do 2 cars, or maybe not necessarily like 1450, but maybe the 1430 or something like that. But there are other products out there, but we haven't really tested them because we use the wall connectors, and those are just load balanced automatically, so they'll split the load for us, so we don't really have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe looking into that again, but you might be able to use the Dryer Buddy.
Potential. Therius said, when's the next Plaid video coming out? Love your videos. Thank you so much. Hopefully tomorrow. Fingers crossed. I'm kind of back to a one-man edit team.
We have we have 3 or 4 planned for this week. So well, 3 or 4 in the can or in the queue, but they're not in the can yet, right?
Yeah, true. In the queue, not the can. Let's see, where are we now? Amy said, I didn't pay for my Teslas. Tesla got me a sugar daddy. That's how I roll.
Oh, how nice.
Should Google how to do that. No, I'm just kidding. Fred said, I was lent a Taycan Turbo S when I took my 911 Turbo in for service. Beautiful car, but not a Tesla. They have a ways to go. You see, I just want to check it out. I'm really bummed I wasn't able to meet up with Matt. Some Tesla guy said, damn, my dude told Will Savage. I mean,
I wasn't that mad, but it's just like, come on, don't get mad at us. Don't be jealous. It's like, yeah, we're in the basement, but that's not we paid for it ourselves.
Hey,
just like
it's a walkout basement.
It's a walkout basement.
I see the door right
with
there.
one of the best views in the Denver metro area.
True.
So Roger and Amy can attest to that.
They can. Worked really hard for this. This is not given to us. We busted our butts for everything. Biker Bug said, if you have paid attention to the cash gun, he's shooting out hundreds. Think that's enough cash to buy whatever he wants. So they are fake hundreds.
Yeah, they look
I'm not
pretty
gonna
good.
lie.
They're
Here,
pretty good.
give me a few.
There's a couple.
Oh wait, they're right here.
There's 2 different styles, but some of them these look pretty authentic.
All over the floor. Okay, so one of them is like this. Obviously fake.
That's
it has
a pretty
the
good one.
red Chinese symbol all over it.
Yeah.
Obviously a fake. Now this one, okay, this one could probably pass.
The color's a little bit off though, the paper.
And it's a really flimsy paper. But that one could probably pass.
Yeah, but no, we're not using real hundreds.
No.
We're not like that rich, We're not rich.
We're not using real hundreds.
Especially after spending all that money on full self-driving.
True. Let's see. Tesla Tim said, how can I get that T sticker on your Y for my 3? So I actually just had a local print shop print it out and cut it for me. You can't technically buy them because that is their trademark logo, and they will sue anyone or threaten to sue anyone that does. And so I've gotten so many requests to sell them, but unfortunately I just can't.
It's not.
But reach out to a local wrap shop or vinyl shop and see if they can print or cut one for you. That's your best bet. Matt said you could probably pitch it as MKBHD did as an average person, but
do it more efficiently.
But here's how you could do it more efficiently. Yeah, I think that's what we'll kind of do. We'll do a critique video. Mm-hmm. Hopefully MKBHD doesn't get pissed. Yeah. Jim did say free supercharging for life would be awesome if they used it as a cab or limo. Definitely. Yep. Let's see. Amy said following travels almost as good as posting puppy cuddles in a YouTube video.
Puppy cuddles. Oh, where'd Kit go?
Oh, he's been gone a while. I think he got too hot. Layden's all spread out, so
Yeah.
it's kind of hot.
She's stretched out. Somebody asked, should I get an SR Plus Model 3 or a BMW X3 2022?
That's kind of a weird comparison, I think, because the
Yeah.
SR Plus is a sedan with only a trunk, whereas the X3 is going to have it's more of a hatch, like a small SUV. So I think it'd be better to compare it to a Y. And,
Oh, yeah.
and maybe get a Y instead of a SR Plus 3. But the SR Plus would definitely be cheaper.
They
than the
did
Y.
say further on that my only problem with the SR Plus is the lack of premium audio.
It's pretty
It's still
really good audio, yeah.
as is, but premium's a little
Oh,
bit
but he's
better.
just saying the SR Plus, where
Yeah.
some of those
It's-
speakers are disabled
It's
and
still
stuff.
not terrible though.
Yeah, but the regular like long range or performance, the audio is very nice.
Very nice.
Did they change it though, so you could turn those on at a later date, like they did with like the rear
I don't
seat
know.
heaters? I can't remember if they did that. Let us know. But I know at
anyone
one time
knows,
there was
yeah.
people talking about like, can they pay for that, or was that just a nice to have? You know?
Yeah. Unnamed man 001, love the username, said, my solar runs my heat pump that does both my AC and heating, no problem. Nice. That's another thing, is for heat, we actually have hot water heat, which tends to be a little bit more energy efficient. It does use a natural gas boiler, though.
But, boiler. But
Boiler,
we
sorry.
don't have ducts, so that's another thing.
True.
Is if we wanted to put in heat pump stuff like that or like mini splits, then we'd have to put in ducts everywhere. So it would be a major undertaking.
Yeah. Jim called it out. I didn't really want to, but since Jim said it, I'll just read his comment. Edmunds flipped after it was bought by CarMax. That is beholden to the audio giants for ads.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that was tough for me to say.
Yeah.
But yes, I agree. Yep. Jason S. said, biggest Tesla complaint, the paint sucks.
We haven't had any problems, but we do always get.
Why?
We also always get paint protection.
Oh, true.
So we haven't seen too many issues. I mean,
You can see a lot of swirl marks in the black and the blues. So I have seen that, but I think that's kind of like a California thing, because California regulates a lot of what they can and can't use. I have a feeling once they start coming out of Austin, the paint quality will improve a lot. Frank said, hey guys, have you ever heard of this? My Tesla saved a Sentry Mode video to the Model Y car memory. Have gone to service center and they passed it to the Tesla Tech higher level. I've not heard anything.
I did know that some of the software updates in the past, they said that if you don't have like USB key or something like that, they would still save some clips there. But I don't know how you're supposed to be able to access those.
Yeah.
So it sounds like he's asked them and they're still like.
I honestly don't know. That's a great question. If you find out, definitely let us know, Frank, because it's something I haven't had to experience yet, but I'm curious to know how to handle it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, and then Jason, we were just talking about the speakers in the SR Plus. He said you can buy a wire harness. So I did know there was something possible. But so like the speakers are there, but not the wires to connect it in. So that's all you do is connect it and then it works. That'd be cool if it works, plug and play. But we know that with like the pedestrian warning system, adding your own speaker, it might work, but you don't get boombox. So hopefully using that wiring harness would enable the full audio for those SR Pluses.
Yep. Let's see. Brendan said, if I was a betting man, I'd bet that the price will go up again following the public release of FSD. I would think so. There's been code that have found it at like 12K and 14K. So I don't know what it'll eventually go to, but it's kind of already high at 10K.
But again, we talked about that last week, and we're like, if they're coming out with a new Model 2 that's not going to be called the Model 2, that's going to be $25,000, that doesn't have a steering wheel, that doesn't have pedals, that will have full self-driving, why would anybody pay $10,000 to $15,000 if you can get an entire car, not as pretty, for $25,000? It's like I don't see that happening. So, and somebody was asking about Instagram. It's DC Wirtz, so DCWIRTZ is Instagram. If you're looking for me there. Or just go to Eric and then kind of look where he's tagged me.
Yeah, I tagged him in like
it's easy to find me. Look for a picture of me or my car on Instagram, and then you'll be able to find me there.
Yep. There is any chance the current Plaid battery pack can be upgraded to a 4680 when it'll be out? Generally speaking, what's the current upgradability of battery packs of Tesla cars? I mean, I don't think it's going to be upgradable immediately. Maybe eventually.
But the 4680 is supposed to be structural.
Exactly.
So they would have to have a whole new.
True.
I don't think they're going to retrofit and come out with if it's structural, they're not going to be able to just remove the battery and put a new one in there. So I don't think they're ever going to be able to upgrade to a 4680. And as in the past, for upgrading other vehicles, Tesla never, only a couple times that we know of, did they officially upgrade people, and it was only like a small increase. Like, well, we do know somebody who went from a 60 to an 85, right?
I think it was a 75. Or
it was 70 or something like that.
Something like that.
But Tesla doesn't typically do those upgrades, but there are some aftermarket, there's some other garages you can go to around the country, and they can upgrade your car battery to a newer one or a bigger one.
And also, like, if your car fails during warranty and they can't provide the original size battery anymore, they normally give you the step up and either software limit it or give you like a chance to unlock.
Or
that
sometimes
extra.
they even give it to you. Like, say you had
True.
an 85, they don't make 85 batteries anymore, so they might give you a 90, and they might go ahead and just give you the 90 kilowatt hours. But typically, it has to be a failing battery pack. It's not something hey, I just want to upgrade my battery, because that's going to cost you
very expensive,
$20,000+. So
yeah. Eventually, though, battery packs should be cheaper. I know we've been saying that for a while, but eventually they will be.
But it is possible through all these other garages, but just not, Tesla won't do it right now.
Yep. The Waves of Life said, I bought a Park World 886580 dryer splitter for $60, but have to make sure I'm not using the dryer when charging.
Yeah, so those are like for camping, for like RVs and stuff like that. But yeah, you have to that's like totally on your own. And so if you forget to turn off something, then it can blow flip your circuit breaker, or blow a fuse or something like that. So definitely be careful if you're using something that's not smart with the built-in circuitry.
Yep. Roger and Amy are testifying on our behalf. They said, very nice house, no mothers in sight.
Oh.
And Amy said, but they do have an in-house chef, my favorite.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't get paid very much, though.
No. But that does help. And in case you guys are curious, that's Scott. He is he's not a chef.
But he went to culinary school.
But he went to culinary school, and he cooks a lot, and he does make some really good food.
Need Puppy Cam.
Oh, Puppy Cam.
Kit has returned. He's kind of hanging off the edge, but he found room.
Let's see. Sharp said, hey guys, small nitpick with the new app design. App needs to toggle for a white day background and a night background. Black background is terrible during the day.
I noticed that too. And also one time I turned on like the satellite imagery or whatever, and I could not turn it back off. And I had to like kill the app and restart it. And even then it took me several tries to turn the map. So definitely they're still missing some things. We still don't like the graphs and the energy products and stuff. But for the most part, the car part of the app has gotten better. But the energy part, I think, has gotten worse.
Yeah. Chris said it's crazy that Autopilot
do you
1...
have that video I sent you? We noticed the video I sent you last week from the new app.
Oh, wow. I'll look it up in just a minute.
Oh, okay.
He got very excited.
Well, it was something that we thought was cool in the new app that we actually can say.
Chris said it's crazy that Autopilot 1 can change lanes, but new Teslas without FSD cannot.
Well, they can. It's limited. Because
if you don't buy FSD, you don't get it.
Yes, but what I'm saying, it can, but you didn't pay for it, and they're giving you a free version of it, and so basically, it's giving people a bad impersonation that they don't think FSD is capable of it. It is capable, but in the
not without paying 10,000 or 200.
That's the problem. And so I've seen other people say, well, we tested the Hyundai or we tested this, and it's so much better. But Tesla has a better version. You just have to pay for it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Roger said superchargers cannot be used for commercial purposes per Tesla, so they could boot your car from free lifetime supercharging if you get caught. So there's actually, originally it didn't matter, and then I think it was what?
Things like
it was like the last
it was like
year
December.
or two.
I think it was like December 15th of 2017.
They put that into the terms
because we took delivery of a vehicle 6 days before that.
Yeah.
And so our car was technically allowed. We could use it for commercial purposes if desired. But like late December 2017, no commercial vehicles. So yeah.
Yeah. It's because there was a lot of like Tesla rideshare companies out, and they were I don't want to say clogging up the superchargers, but they were
or even taxis like, what is it, Amsterdam or someplace like that, where there were like hundreds of them or whatever, and they were just always using the supercharger.
Yep.
But yeah, again, there were no restrictions on it when they bought it, so that's why Tesla had to add that. So going forward, it's not possible.
Yep. He is using a Huawei tablet.
Huawei, yes, 8.5-inch Huawei, and this still has. This
is not an ad. They're not paying us. Don't give out all the deets unless we're getting the bag. No, I'm just kidding.
But yes.
It is a very nice tablet.
It's a nice tablet, a lot of cool features, but it was really cheap.
No, that's the perk of it, though. It's not like an $800 iPad.
Yeah, this was like a couple $100, and but it's still Unfortunately, though, with the U.S. government, they put some restrictions on Huawei, but this predates that, so it still has like all the Google apps and Google Play Store and all that stuff.
Yeah. The Edge said, "How is insurance cost of a Tesla versus a regular vehicle?" Honestly, don't know.
It varies.
We haven't had a regular vehicle in a really long time, and so much has changed.
But
if anyone in chat has a regular vehicle and a Tesla, if you are willing to give us ranges of pricing, that would be really helpful.
I think it just varies greatly, though, depending on state and person and how old you are and what other things you have insured. So it varies greatly. But we haven't really noticed any increase. In fact, some of our insurance went down when we got rid of ICE vehicles and added Teslas years ago.
Yeah. Let's see. Spice is Life said, "My Ford Escape had to be repainted under warranty at 11,000 miles due to paint flaking off of the A-pillar. Paint issues aren't exclusive to Tesla."
Yeah.
That's a bummer. I'm glad they did it, though. That would have sucked if they were like, "No, we're not responsible." Chris said, "I wonder how many cars out there still with enhanced autopilot that could take you off of the ramp and ask you to take over."
There's still a bunch, because like our S100D,
I wonder how many people upgrade to FSD, though, because they did some really good sales for enhanced autopilot people. For only I think it got down to like 2K at one point.
Yeah, because that's when my mom bought it for her Model 3.
So they tried to push those enhanced autopilot people to buy FSD, and they gave some really good deals back in the day when they wanted to kind of boost end of quarter profit and everything. So they did some good sales back in the day. I don't think we're ever going to see those again, though, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, License to Drive said, "Bad rainstorm caused car alarm to go off, and the footage stayed on the car for 60 days." Wow, rain caused the car alarm? That's kind of scary.
Time for the dog cam again, because they're talking about the dog. But
Den says, "What breed are the dogs?"
check it out.
He's using Layden as a pillow.
pillow.
That's cute. He's gonna suffocate poor Layden. They're actually Rhodesian Ridgebacks.
Both of them, brother and
So
sister.
they're brother and sister, yin and yang, as it looks.
Yeah, we have pictures. Yeah, they've been together their entire lives.
Yep, we even picked them up in a Tesla.
Yeah.
We still have that Tesla.
Check that back in it was October of 2017. Go back, check the video. We drove from Colorado to Wichita, Kansas, picked them up.
Yep. Let's see. Gerald said, "Any problems with screen protectors on both UI screens is screen S long range." Both UI screens. Like the new one? So I've been working with Abstract Ocean. We've been going back and forth with some test screen protectors, making sure everything's perfect. And hopefully those should be out in like a month or so. But so far, no issues at all. I just put it in a screen clean mode, attach it, and then out, and it's been great. Now, worst case, if anyone does experience any phantom touching, double scroll wheel reset after you do the screen protector should kind of like recalibrate the screen a little bit. That's what I've heard, at least. Jim said Rich Rebuilds bragged his garage replaced a couple of bad modules in a 2013 S battery pack for $5K instead of $22.5K Tesla wanted for a new pack.
However, you got to be careful with that, because I haven't seen the video, but you can't just swap out packs because they have to be at the same voltage and stuff like that. So if you just swap out one or two, they have to be balanced. And Tesla, when they remanufacture packs, they're able to take in all these batteries from all the vehicles, the batteries that they get back, and they can pick out the right packs so that they match and that they're equivalent. Because if you have packs that are too far out of balance, then if you put in cells that don't hold the voltage the same as the ones that are in the car, that's just going to cause another problem in the future. That's why Tesla replaces the entire pack, because they have to be level. And we've heard of a couple people that have just taken delivery of their Plaid that the just by being out by like a few hundredths of a volt can affect the stability of the range and the range and the stability. So while this sounds like, oh, that's cool, you can do it for a few thousand, there's another company down in Arizona that'll do it, but they just cut out some old battery cells and turn off. It's not the same kind of a fix. It's a patch. It's like putting a patch instead of fixing it the right way.
I would also like it to go on record that Rich also has a bunch of videos on his channel of him blowing up those modules because they messed something up or they short-circuited something.
Or like his car just caught on fire. Remember that one when he had a car that just caught on fire and they're recording it? So
I would, to be honest, I wouldn't trust anybody but Tesla to do that, and I would rather have a new battery pack
then have a module swapped out and
that
have
has a whole
potential
warranty.
issues.
And, Tesla will warranty
Yeah.
that stuff too. I'm 99.9% sure there's no warranty on
No,
the
definitely
pack
not.
that he's cutting and replacing parts out of.
I wouldn't do it. Personal preference. I wouldn't do it. Personal preference, though. I'm glad somebody is starting to do it, but still scary. Matt said, yeah, if you split the power, you will need to take a breaker minus 20% and divide by 2 and set each car to that as the max
Yeah, you
current.
could do. So that's
Yeah.
another way to
Yep.
safely to do it. So if you had like a
Safety in
1450,
quotes.
you'd have a 50 amp breaker. So you could use
20
40
amps.
of that. So you could set each one to be using 20, and then you wouldn't have to worry about it overheating and flipping the breaker.
And the nice thing is the cars actually remember the amps at that location. So if you do that on the regular, you should be okay in theory, but I would just be careful.
Definitely
as
something
always.
to check, because sometimes we found that it reverts, because like your car was set to 40 and then I caught it one day at 48. So sometimes it changes. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's after a reboot or what, but it's not 100% consistent.
Pierre said flamethrower and speaker upgrade might be a good option
Oh,
for
yeah.
ice fans. Yep. Let's see. Matt said his Tesla was cheaper than his Lexus, but he shopped around for insurance. Good to know. Amy said FSD concentrates around the Bay Area, according to Elon. Really think we should test out beta up here. Could really put it through the ringer. I agree. I think they need to start.
A lot of other states, because he
Yeah.
said too they're going to be adding other countries, but yeah, they haven't really expanded yet. So
No.
I don't see them giving the full self-driving button anytime soon. But
Yep. Diego said he went from a 2016 Maxima to a Model Y, and it was the same cost at $122 a month. So yeah, there's a lot of variables that go into insurance costs though, so it's not like super
Yeah.
easy cut like this or this.
I remember a couple years ago, one of our Model S's was like $600 for the year. So it just varies
Yeah.
greatly depending on state and driver and what all other insurance
history.
you have.
Yeah. Amy said she went from a 2013 Ford Escape to a Model Y. Insurance was the same.
Yeah.
Biker Bug said he has a Mercedes 2018 C300. That's $94 a month, and the new Model 3 Performance is $82 a month.
Cheaper, yeah.
Same coverage in Florida, 57-year-old male, good driver. $82 a month is a good deal.
We do know that there are some companies that are really expensive out there for Tesla. Definitely shop around. I can't remember if it's like Farmers or something like that, but basically they don't want to be in the business of insuring Teslas, and some companies will charge you 3 times as much as other companies. So it definitely pays to shop around. And luckily we have a good insurance agent that found us a good company, good rates.
And actually, Jim just said to save on insurance, they got competing quotes from Credit Karma and then went to State Farm to see if they could match it.
Right there, yeah.
The insurance lady got me to switch the house insurance to save big.
Exactly. So that's what we do too.
Bundling will save you even more.
So that's another thing. We have house insurance is bundled on the same policy as that. We also have an umbrella policy too, because the umbrella policy is really cheap way to add like $1 million or more in insurance, and it's like $100 or something for the year. So definitely look into doing all that. One company can really bring your rates down.
Yeah. Chris said, I don't find insurance to be more than a similar price gas car. It's better that Tesla doesn't put a P on the car anymore. That would bump up the cost. So actually, when we did the Plaid, they said it was either, they asked if it was a long range or performance. And we're like, well, technically it's Plaid, but that would be considered like the performance variant. So that's what we told them.
That's what it's insured
because it wasn't
under.
even in the system yet.
What's weird is we've noticed on our insurance too is that they don't really care about the battery size, and so like when we got, again, they really were concerned about performance or non-performance, because when we had the S90D, the S100D, the 75D, those were all like quoted as like a 60 in the insurance, but even though it was a different size battery, they just really want performance or non-performance.
Yep.
At least with our insurance.
Yep. Jason said Matchbox has semi Model S combo packs out.
Oh yeah, we've had that for. That's been out for a while now, right?
So.
Didn't that come out last year? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think so. So they have like this one. That's the Tesla Semi with Model S. And then they have this one, which is the Tesla Semi with a log carrier and a
front loader
thing. It's got like
bulldozer or something like that. Front loader, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Or road grader? I can't see. Oh no, it's a I don't know.
It's like a
what that is.
forklift.
Well, that's weird.
Yeah.
Oh, it's to load the logs on. That's what it is. So it's a forklift, I guess, for the
Yeah,
log.
they came out with those a little while ago. They're still pretty hard to find though.
But
So
let
if you
us
find
know,
them,
if you see them, because we're always looking for new Tesla toys like that.
No.
Kind of like the fake Cybertruck remote that we did a video on the other day.
Yep. The Waves of Life said I pay $220 every 6 months for my Y.
Dang, that's real good. Jason said Tesla equals aluminum, possibly higher insurance costs due to that. I mean, aluminum has its pros and cons, for sure.
But also in the 3, don't they have more steel than in the S and X?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yep.
So less aluminum in those.
Abstract Ocean said, same here. We have a kid's Fiesta on our insurance. It's not the kid that doubles it. It's the kid that doubles it, not the Teslas.
Yeah.
Yikes.
The age and experience.
Roger said, I watched the video. Rich did not do the work. His former Tesla tech crew did it.
Oh, so
and they
did
matched the pack
Okay, that's good
voltage
to
and
know.
verified things via factory mode.
Okay, that's good
I mean,
to
that's
know.
totally good. Still kind of scary, but you got to be careful. Jonathan said, I used to pay more for my 2019 GLA than compared to my 2021 Model Y. Nice. D. Michael said, millionaires need a full umbrella.
Even non-millionaires.
I mean, it's a good way to
it
just
helps.
protect yourself.
Yeah,
Like,
because especially with cars being so expensive these days, it's like you could easily hit a couple cars and that would put you over your limit. And
or if you have work being done to your house.
yeah, and
like-
somebody falls off the roof or something like that, it definitely
Yeah.
helps to, you don't want to lose your house or anything because of that. So definitely umbrella policy.
Yeah.
They're so cheap.
Waves of Life said $36 a month, 55-year-old State Farm, drive safe and save.
I used to have State Farm insurance, and yeah, it was really cheap until I moved to Colorado, and then it like tripled, and so.
Yeah, it definitely depends on where you're at in the country. So the best thing, shop around.
Yep.
If it seems high, it probably is. Somebody said, where did you guys buy the money gun thrower? Amazon, would not recommend. They're not that great.
Yeah, these are not that great because. If you,
Like,
see,
look, he's got
right
the
now,
trigger down all the way.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So it's like, yeah.
To
Definitely.
be honest, it's almost easier just to throw it.
Yeah,
But they're kind of fun.
they're fine. Wee.
Elmo said, I see what I said there. Didn't Biden administration invite the big 3 legacy automakers to promote EVs and left Tesla out? Sounds like some lobbying must have went on. Things that make you go, Yes.
Yeah.
Tesla totally got snubbed, which something sus.
Which is weird because Tesla sold like the most. If it
They
wasn't
are
for Tesla,
the
there
only-
would be no EV
No.
auto industry. And yeah, it's not. It's unfortunate. And like we were talking about, the tax credits are changing, and it sounds like the way it's currently written, that if you're non-union, you get a much smaller tax thing than if you are. So
Yeah.
it's just not. It's definitely, there's some lobbyists in there that
For
are,
sure.
they're pushing other manufacturers over Tesla.
Diego and Amy want to know from Scott what's for dinner. So do you mind messaging him and
I
asking
have an
him?
idea. Yeah, he probably. I told him we were going to done early.
I don't really
so-
smell anything yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll see if he sees this.
Let's see. Michael said you guys should really consider talking to a trust lawyer and putting your house title under a trust.
Yeah,
I have some other things under a trust, but
and I've heard about that too, like for tax purposes. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's true, but I saw on TikTok, and they were like,
oh god,
if
it's a TikTok.
But if you like die and you give your money this way, then there's these inheritance
different
taxes.
laws,
If you do
yeah.
it this way, then you have to pay taxes on this, this, and this. But if you do it in a trust, there was like no taxes or something like that. So definitely something to look into.
I think it can be taxed differently, but we can ask Dan about that. The
Or
accountant.
we should much lower rates,
Yeah.
so we should look into that. Yes.
Yep. Let's see. Jim said I used to be an insurance agent. Oh, here we go. I think the insurance quotes are higher on performance because they view it as a sports car, higher
Yeah,
risk of crashes.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely.
I was going to ask Jim if he was ever an art teacher, because I had an art teacher that I thought his name was, I can't remember his first name, but he was definitely Mr. Whitehead.
Oh.
So,
Or do you have an art teacher like brother? Maybe?
yeah, let us know.
Yeah. Chris said Tesla doesn't just repair big things. Just doesn't repair big things. If there's something wrong with your drive unit, they replace it. Same with batteries. They just want it to happen in warranty. Or you just want it to happen in warranty. Yeah, I think it's because, like, I'm sure they take a lot of that and they send it back to the factory to get reworked.
Yeah.
Or at least, like, recycled. But it's just, like, out in the field, like, in a service center, it's just not worth the time to have people do the battery stuff when
Yeah.
they can go and take that battery back to where it was created, where they have all the correct machines to make sure it's perfect.
Plus, with the training, imagine having
yeah, exactly.
hundreds of service centers. You'd have to train hundreds or thousands of employees on how to do this, and it's a very probably precise thing they have to do just right. Because as I said, you have to get everything balanced and installed and just right. So instead of training hundreds or thousands of employees across the world, just send the batteries back to Fremont. You can have a dedicated team of like a couple dozen people. That's their job. That's what they do 40 hours a week. And they're going to do it the right way.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
A lot cheaper that way and a lot quicker too, probably.
Yeah. Michael said, any thoughts on Ford's supercharging problems?
I don't know.
What do you mean? Charging problems? Are they
Probably
having charging problems?
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
I didn't know they were having charging problems.
I don't know. Well, in that other video where they were talking about Ford the Mach-E, they were having problems. Ford doesn't have their own charging network. They just, buy charging, or they group up with all these other charging networks, and they just don't communicate right.
Oh, okay. So yeah, their charging network is using other chargers and calling it theirs. It's I don't agree with that. But whatever. Roger said trusts come in handy for a lot of things. We can talk about that later. Yeah. Oh, I'm right there with you, Roger. Got it. But yeah, we'll talk later for sure. I might need some input on some things anyway. Jim said, I was not an art teacher or a brother. I used to do computer science research, AI applications to Intellistat satellites and other stuff with top secret clearance. Holy
Interesting.
crap.
But I was just wondering.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I've always wondered, because I've seen you in chat a lot of times in the past, and I've always wondered, is that my old art teacher? Or is he related? That would be really funny. Or is he related to my old art teacher? But okay, now we know. Thanks for telling us.
That's half the battle. Now you know.
Knowing is half the battle.
Let's see. I think we're basically caught up. We still don't have an update on what's for dinner.
No, and we went a little bit past that 1 hour deadline.
Yeah, we did.
But we had a lot of questions.
We had a lot of questions, and I always say, like, we're going to make it short, and it always ends up being, like, 2 hours. But you guys have a lot of good questions, and it's good to talk about, too, because it also gives me some things to research and kind of read up on.
Sometimes you stump
And we
us.
learn a lot from you guys.
So we got a few things we're going to go look up here.
Yep.
That,
huge thanks to everyone for the super chats. Y'all kill it today. Much, much appreciated. But again, not required for chats. Really appreciate everyone helping out in chat with other questions that people have that we didn't know the answer to. It's nice that our little community here. What's up?
Diego just said I spent 25 minutes ranting about the basement.
Was it really 25 minutes?
It wasn't 25 minutes.
Okay.
It was maybe 5 minutes.
I was like, wow, was it really? But anyway, huge thanks to everyone for hanging out. Oh my God, Roger. DTFSD. I'm in, Roger. I really appreciate everyone hanging out. It was a lot of fun tonight. Definitely check out Twitter if you haven't. There's a lot of fun things on there that we've been talking about and tweeting out. So it's a good time. We'll say that. Huge thanks to our channel sponsor, though, Abstract Ocean. They help make all this possible. So if you guys are looking to accessorize your Model SX3 or Y, definitely check them out. All linked down below. Using code Tesla Inventory will get you 15% off of your first purchase. And they do have the Plaid You're Here floor mats coming so
soon.
Keep an eye out for that. We'll do some fun things with everything. And some other fun products that we're working on as well. So stay tuned. But I guess that's pretty much it. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good one. Don't forget to thumbs up and like the video, please. And subscribe if you're not. Bye.